Hey, Ben?
Yeah, what's up?
Why is your kid eating my hard drive in the corner?
Diana?
Dad Simulator 2026 has arrived.
Woohoo!
Play as system engineer Hugh Williams, who is stranded on a giant 3D printer on the moon. As you explore this massive off-world corporate base, you take in a small child-looking AI who wants to help you get back to Earth. Will Hugh live on in the pantheon of slightly disgruntled father figures like Joel and Kratos, or will his memory become corrupted and lost to time? Hey AJ,
Hi, Ben. I'm slightly disgruntled too.
aren't we all?
I just came off a move, but let's talk about Pragmata, one of the things keeping me somewhat sane through that entire process.
Hell yeah. So I beat Pragmata. You're still working your way through it with the move and all.
I am very, 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 very close to the end.
Yeah, so no spoiler talk here if you're looking for that. This is not the venue, unfortunately.
I think, honestly, I kind of prefer moving away from spoilers for this game in particular for a couple reasons I'll dive into. However, there's a lot to dive into with this game. Of course, right off the bat, this is a third-person action shooter, but it comes with a very interesting combat mechanic that makes it extremely unique. And that's the very first thing I want to talk to you, Ben, about.
Yeah, let's dive into the hacking.
Because, my goodness, you and we had very, very brief conversations, but I think you and I had very different experiences with this combat system.
I am sure, especially early game for me. Yeah, let's dive right into it. Early game, I was terrible with the hacking. My monkey brain could not handle shooting and dodging and hacking.
It's a lot all at your face, all at once. And much like the demo, which they did a really good job with the demo, kind of showing that it does not hold back with the mixture of this dodging, hacking, and shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very different experience. In the demo, I had the chance to kind of start to figure it out, and I played through the demo 3 times.
Oh, geez.
And by the 3rd time, I hit kind of like a flow state with the combat where, like, something about that hacking is just making it 20,000 times more intriguing every single gunfight for me. Because the gunfight is gunfight.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, like, the gunplay feels fluid throughout the game, but there's nothing extraordinary about it.
Yeah.
And the hacking is really what was keeping me super, super hooked, because it was this mixture of, like, I'm trying to hack, but I'm also trying to shoot. So now my aim's getting thrown off. Oh crap, I didn't realize this guy's behind me. Now he's jumping my bones and, like, I'm about to go down. Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, no, I agree with you that the gunplay is gunplay. It's whatever, give or take. But after my first long session of playing the game, the hacking did click, and that was my favorite aspect of this game, combat-wise.
Oh, 100%, dude. And there's so much variability to it. So, like, of course, on the gunplay side, you have a couple different combat weapons, strategic weapons that kind of CC enemies, and then you have your kind of like protection-esque weapons that are more meant for, either preventing you from getting shot or making it so enemies go to a decoy, stuff like that. So you get this really cool kind of double-edged sword there, but the depth comes into how the hacking plays into each of those mechanics. So the hacking, you have a couple different modes you can go with, and those modes will change how those hacks are impacting those gunfights. And like one prime example is the strike hacking mode, where there are nodules you go through, and those nodules deal critical damage. And that was kind of a go-to for me. I went very, very combat heavy throughout the entire game with the hacks, where, like, because the hacking deals a small amount of damage, and of course you can buff that as you go on.
Yep.
So that hacking side of it honestly started to become one of my bigger kind of, like, big hits right before I would go in with one of the special weapons and then, like, kind of finish them off with the weak points, which we didn't even mention weak points here, Ben.
Oh yeah,
And
you gotta
how'd
hack.
you feel about those?
They were fine. Some of them were more accessible than others. Some of them were a pain to get to when fighting enemies, but that's the point, to make it more difficult. Interesting that you said that you went with the strike mode primarily. I was an overheat guy for most of my playthrough.
Okay, see, I tried overheat and it just was not working for me. It took it for me in my own playstyle. It just took too long to overheat an enemy to get to a point where I could do that takedown. And so I just hit a point where I was like, I want to maximize damage output, so I kind of daisy chained the strike package with the module that you can add that increases damage. And the module that multi-hacks.
Okay, yep.
And then just do this massive, like, whammy to all of the enemies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was so much fun. However, when you get into the really big enemies, of course, the hacking is evolving throughout the game. And the bigger enemies have a lot more to hack. And that's where it got, like, I started to really struggle. When you give me 15 rows to go through, and also, like, 70 different cuts and, like, turns you have to take throughout that entire thing, I'm struggling.
Oh, I kind of want to talk to you after you're done with the game about this again.
Oh, dear, Ben.
No, it's
that
not.
doesn't give me hope for this last tiny stretch.
It's fine.
Of how good I'm about to do.
You're fine. Yeah, no, see, also circling back on combat, like, you were talking about special weapons and overheat not working for you. I barely use special weapons in this game.
No
which
way.
Is kind of funny. Yeah, like, I like the weapons, but I found with the overheat, if you just, every time you hack, you're hitting as many of those nodules as you can, and you just crank with the assault rifle. It's not doing much damage, but it builds up that heat meter.
That is so significantly different. So I mained the pistol, of course, because, yeah, the overheat feature, I was like, all right, I have, if I can just get them to low health, I can do that takedown as well.
Yep.
So, and because I was having so much fun with the hacking,
oh yeah,
I really enjoyed the mixture of that super hacking heavy playstyle for me. The assault rifle also, like, I just want to touch on this, and I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, when I was using the assault rifle, the recoil curve was a little weird.
Yeah.
Because when it first starts shooting, there's, like, zero recoil at all. The gun just doesn't move. And then it just, like, skyrockets to the top of your screen in about 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, no, that is fair.
That just did not feel like a proper recoil curve. Like, I am all for recoil. I want to battle with the recoil. That's part of the fun. However, when I feel like the recoil is just coming out of nowhere and just throwing max sensitivity mouse up, it feels a little wacky.
I didn't really notice that. Like, yeah, recoil gets pretty crazy after holding it down for a while, just unloading, but I never had it shoot that far away.
All right, so it's either I'm really bad or something we didn't highlight. I played this game Switch 2, and you played it PC.
Yep.
Switch 2, and we didn't talk about this a lot in all of our conversations about Switch 2. I used my Joy-Cons, my Switch 2 Joy-Cons. Something a lot of people talk about is just how terrible the Switch 2 Joy-Cons are for precision aiming.
Yeah, I haven't used mine for that yet, so I can't speak to it.
maybe it's that, but honestly, I don't want to say it's that. I'm just gonna say I'm terrible at recoil and call it at that. But moving from the combat, Ben, the exploration of the game. Oh my god. Okay, I'm a space freak. I love space. I love the moon. I love the universe. I love universes. It's so cool.
Mhm.
It's so vast. There's so much to know. This game already nailed it on setting for me. But even on Switch 2, Ben, the graphics were beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you get to that segment early on in the game where you're in like that New York replica.
Oh my gosh.
The neon
The
lights.
moment I walked into that, and like we saw that in trailers and early gameplay, but like, wow, just being able to actually step into it and dive further into it is so well done. And like, I'll speak to my experience on the Switch 2 here.
Mhm.
Of course, the Switch 2 is not the most powerful thing in the world. It's not expected to be. However, it looked like a modern day game. There were plenty of moments where I could look and I was like, all right, the graphics aren't like max tier right here. However, in those moments, I didn't even care. And it was only when I was taking the time to really kind of like focus in and be like, all right, I want to evaluate how this looks. And so throughout the game, I just kind of got lost and forgot I was playing on Switch 2 half the time, which is stupidly impressive because that's just performance I didn't expect out of that console. This is not a review for that console, but the optimization for the game is really top tier, and some more developers should take some notes on that because the Switch 2 is already a beast of a console, Ben, to kind of get these games ported over to, and Pragmata and Capcom did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Like I said, I played on PC and it looked amazing on PC. There's not much to say there, but I'm really glad to hear that Capcom was able to swing it over to Nintendo.
So, of course, you played on PC. So, this is a little bit more of a variable factor for you, but I am curious, just on the optimization side of things, how did the game run for you?
Game ran fantastic. No obvious frame drops that I came across. The one thing I would say is load times were weirdly long. I don't know if that's my PC issue. I couldn't find anything online about it. But towards the end of the game, I was just like, man, I've been on this loading screen for a little bit.
I'm gonna piggyback right off of that. So, listening. Once again, preface. Switch 2.
Yeah.
However, load times, egregious.
Okay, so...
like, wild. There were moments where I genuinely was sitting there like, can I please just get back into the game?
Yeah.
Like, I was having such a good time.
Yeah, why did you take me out? Mine weren't that bad, but it was definitely noticeable. Like, there were a couple times I was like, did my game crash?
It wasn't even all the time. I don't want to make it sound like it was all the time, but it was just enough to kind of get me annoyed sometimes where I was like, I just want to play the game. Like, we're going Skyrim loading times. So, loading times, I kind of wrote off because I like I said, I knew Switch 2 was going to do that. However, frame drops. This is where I come into a bit of a 50-50 fold here, Ben.
Okay.
And I didn't really mention it to you much other than just a quick preliminary thing. But overall, the optimization of the game is phenomenal. The frame rate, for the most part, in docked mode, is great. There's the occasional stutter, of course, when it gets to the more dense, heavy, combat-focused or scenery-focused moments. And especially in some of the transitions into cutscenes, there are some frame issues. But overall, docked mode felt very similar to a console feeling.
Hmm.
Handheld. Okay. First things first, props to them, and props to Nintendo. I did not expect this game to actually even run in handheld mode. It did run.
That's
And
good.
it honestly kind of ran really well most of the time.
Hmm.
There were frame drops in almost every combat.
Oh, okay.
However, not crazy frame drops. Maybe like, just enough for me to notice in like a moment of like, ooh, that felt a little jolty. And then in the big moments, that's when it became really difficult. And I want to temper some expectations here, because like the Switch 2 itself isn't meant to run this type of game, at an amazing quality in handheld mode.
Yeah.
It's just not. But I feel like there has been a lot of display of what it can do, and Pocopia is a good representation of how I think a Switch 2 game can run while also doing that much stuff.
Yeah.
So Pragmata did a great job. It just fell short in some of those areas frame rate wise, which didn't matter to me, but I know it will matter to some people, because that can impact how you're playing a game, and if you feel like you can't get through it, that does matter. So overall, it's optimization and frame rate wise, it's good, but I hope with some more updates, it gets just a little bit better.
Yeah, especially for a console like the Switch 2, which I feel like a lot of people play only handheld.
I thought that too. And then I heard a lot of people kind of say that they were doing dock mode too. So now I'm unsure, but I prefer it handheld, honestly. So for me, having those massive drops in areas that I felt like it shouldn't happen, like going into a cutscene, that's where I was like, okay, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Cutscenes were good for me, except for that one day where I was having some hardware issues on my end. I don't know if you recall that.
Oh, I recall that.
But I know that wasn't the game. My favorite one was where the cutscene was playing and the audio was like 2 seconds behind. It was very confusing for the first few moments. But that was all fixed.
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about that.
Yeah, it was funny. Okay, so we've touched on combat and optimization. I want to dive into story a little bit, not too deep, because like I said, you haven't finished the game, and we're not going to go into spoilers or really end game. But how are you feeling about the story?
Okay, Ben. This is kind of where I had a bit of a moment where I had to kind of realign myself a bit. So, I was playing through the game, and initially, I'm gonna be really honest, I started to just not care at all about the story right off the bat.
Okay.
It just did not hook me, because it just felt like, okay, go to space, find AI, find bad AI, fight bad AI. And I was like, okay, where's the depth?
Yeah, it was very generic early on.
And it honestly took a bit of time to get to any sort of depth. And that was one thing that slightly upset me. Because I was like, of course, we've touched on the combat and the hacking, where like that kept me in it at all times. Because of that cool just mixture of everything. The graphics kept me hooked the entire time. And then we go into the story, and there are just some of the moments where I'm like, all right, this is you're not hooking me here with what you're talking about. Oh, let me just exposition dump on you where we need to go at the start. And I'm like, all right, cool. but like, where's the twists and turns?
Yep. Yeah. No, it's almost humorous how fast the story gets going. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like you get there, things happen, and now you have a child.
And then from there, all of a sudden, it's just like, it'll build off of it slowly, and then once you get into it, it starts to kind of actually give you something.
Yeah.
However,
it's definitely not bad, but it wasn't like peak storytelling by any means.
that's
in
what
my
I was
opinion.
about to say.
Yeah.
I think they kind of they did a good job. It's just it didn't feel extremely unique, and it didn't feel very kind of grab your attention most of the time. Most of the time it felt like that was the secondary piece of it, and the hacking and that gameplay loop was the primary part of it.
Yeah, I'm going to read one direct line from my notes here. This is a video game ass video game. Like, this is not trying to be a movie. This is all about those little combat mechanics. And,
Amen.
Nobody... I mean, people might complain about the story, like, what kind of was there, but, like, that's not what this is about. So don't go into it hoping for some giant narrative that's earth-shattering. This is a video game.
Definitely. Yeah, it is a video game through and through. And I think I set myself up for a little bit of disappointment there just by thinking it was going to be more story. However, I don't want to say that like the story being how it was a massive detriment. It just, they could have balanced it out a little bit better, because like the relationship between, of course, your two main characters, you got a really good thing going right there. It's just that underlying story of what's going on in the world and in the background just didn't hit fully, and I really kind of hope to see them take this into the future and maybe take some of the things they've learned and make, another experience like this that is refined and maybe a little bit more story, because I love being able to run around and raise my AI daughter. However, I need a little bit more than that.
Yeah. AI daughter. A lot of discourse about that. But too much AI art surrounding her. We harp on AI all the time on this channel. Can't believe the amount of AI art in this game.
Ben, why do I feel like every single time I came off of a mission, I would have to stare at some AI art?
I don't know. Those little drawings.
It's unbelievable.
It's not actually AI art, guys. I'm just being stupid.
Okay, seriously though, I adored every moment that all of a sudden you would get back from a random adventure and she would just run up to you and show you a drawing.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, towards the end of the game, I was just kind of like, okay, kid.
I can see that. However,
yeah. and maybe I'll get hate
like
for that, but
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's a little more like closer to home in a way of like, sometimes kids are just gonna show you over and over and over and over and over again, man.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
So I think they did a good job of like, and also I just thought about this. That makes it really intriguing. That AI got really good at mimicking a real child really quick.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like that at all.
The secret final boss.
The secret final boss is your secret AI daughter.
Yeah. But no, overall, I really, really enjoyed this game. I just had a blast playing it. Like I said, it's a video game as a video game. I would just pop in, play a level, pop out.
It was stupidly fun, Ben. And it kept my attention throughout the entire time, whether or not the story did it. The just the gameplay of it, where it's the video game of the video game, hooked me.
Yeah.
And it's been a bit since I've sat here and said the story didn't hook me. It was just the game being a game.
And still had a
That's
blast.
really cool.
Yeah.
I just had a blast. And it looked amazing, it played amazing, and the story just was okay. And that's enough to kind of give me just an overall great experience. Well, good experience. Great might be pushing it just for the sake of the performance and optimization issues and the lack of that kind of like story grab that I kind of wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, like score-wise, for anybody who uses that to kind of base their things off of, I would give this a 7.
Yeah, let me see what I gave it real quick.
Heck yeah. I'm very curious.
Yeah, and regardless of what I gave it, avoiding all story things here. I hope this becomes a new franchise. Like, however
Seriously.
it works. Like, I really, really liked it.
I highlighted it a little bit ago, and I will say it full on right now. Please just make this a new franchise, because this has so much potential to go in so many cool ways, and you have so much growth that you can go off of. You have a really strong template.
Mm-hmm.
Now, take the feedback and refine it. And I know a lot of people are enjoying this game. It is so good. So just I want to see this carry on.
Yeah.
And I hope that the mixture of that hacking and combat sticks as the main focus, because that was the coolest thing I have seen in a hot minute for just throwing in something different in combat.
Mm-hmm. I gave it an 8.
Heck yeah. Dude.
Which is
I'm all
shocking
for that.
because the trailers did not appeal to me at all.
I remember.
Yeah, like I thought it looked cool, but I was just like, I probably won't play it. And here we are.
The demo really did it, man.
The demo did it.
Dude.
So go check out the demo if you're on the fence and play Pragmata.
Seriously. Play Pragmata. Check out that demo if you are on the fence. And also, if we didn't sell you, I kind of don't know what will, because overall the game is really fun. I mean, I spent an entire move just desperate to get moments to play this game. So, if that says anything.
Yeah, and I played it in like a week. So
Seriously, it was kind of scary. I felt like 1 second I turned around and all of a sudden you were done with the game, and I was like, Ben, how am I supposed to finish this quick? What?
Just do it.
Dude, honestly, overall, I am just so happy we got this game, and we have had a year of bangers, and it's just continuing. So, let's keep this train rolling, dude, because this is wild. Yeah. And thank you, Capcom. This is Resident Evil and Pragmata, so pop off, Queen.
And Monster Hunter Stories reviewed really well. I didn't play that one, but it's the year of Capcom.
I completely disregarded that, and that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever done. I shouldn't have forgotten about that.
No, you're good. We didn't play it, but thank you,
seriously.
Capcom.
Thank you, Capcom, and thank you everybody for watching and listening. Thank you for sticking around through our little bit of a crazy cycle here. I know we didn't get to Pragmata as quickly as we had said we wanted to. However, it was worth it every second that I got to savor this game. And Ben, thank you for kind of sticking it out with me as I took some extra time and you bashed through the game because you just couldn't let go of it.
Yeah, no worries. You used all your Chumpany PTO, but it's okay.
Dang it.
We're back on the grind.
Listen, speaking of Chumpany PTO, I don't get any more of that, so we're just going to have nonstop content. So,
hopefully,
if you want to see more of us, check out the YouTube, check out our TikTok, Instagram for some short-form content, and check out In Good Chumpany, our podcast, where we talk about all of the gaming news, new releases, etc., and our feelings on that. We have that out on YouTube and Spotify, so we would love to chat with you more. We would love to hear your opinions, and check out our Discord link down in the description below so that you can come and join the casual hangout space with us.
Yeah, and once again, thank you for taking the time to be here with us and listening to us ramble.
Amen, amen. Ben, it was an absolute pleasure to get back in action with you, and please, once again, tell your daughter to stop eating my goddamn hard drive.
Never.